Hey there, amazing people. I'm thrilled to have you here today. Welcome to another exciting video where we'll be shedding light on Annapolis, Maryland. Annapolis is the capital of the U.S. state of Maryland. It is the county seat of Anne Arundel County and its only incorporated city. Situated on the Chesapeake Bay at the mouth of the Severn River, 25 miles south of Baltimore and about 30 miles east of Washington, D.C., Annapolis forms part of the Baltimore-Washington metropolitan area. The 2020 census recorded its population as 40,812, an increase of 6.3% since 2010. The city served as the seat of the Confederation Congress, formerly the Second Continental Congress, and temporary national capital of the United States At that time, General George Washington came before the body convened in the new Maryland State House and resigned his commission as commander of the Continental Army. A month later, the Congress ratified the Treaty of Paris of 1783, ending the American Revolutionary War, with Great Britain recognizing the independence of the United States. The city and state capital was also the site of the 1786 Annapolis Convention, which issued a call to the states to send delegates for the Constitutional Convention to be held the following year in Philadelphia. The Annapolis Peace Conference took place in 2007. Annapolis is the home of St. John's College, founded 1696. The United States Naval Academy, established 1845, is adjacent to the city limits. In this part of the video, we'll be diving deep into colonial and early United States and unraveling its profound impact. Colonial and early United States. A settlement in the province of Maryland named Providence was founded on the north shore of the Severn River on the middle western shore of the Chesapeake Bay in 1649 by Puritan exiles from the province Dominion of Virginia led by the third proprietary governor of Maryland, William Stone. The settlers later moved to a better protected harbor on the Severn's southern shore. The settlement on the south shore, known from 1683 as Town at Proctor's, then Town at the Severn, became in 1694 Anne Arundel's Town after Lady Anne Arundel, the late wife of the late Cecilius Calvert, 2nd Lord Baltimore. In 1654, after the Third English Civil War, parliamentary forces assumed control of the Maryland colony and Stone went into exile south across the Potomac River in Virginia. Per orders from Lord Baltimore, Stone returned the following spring at the head of a Cavalier Royalist force, loyal to the uncrowned King of England. On March 25, 1655, in what became known as the Battle of the Severn, the first colonial naval battle in North America, Stone was defeated, taken prisoner, and replaced by Lieutenant General Josiah Fendall as 5th proprietary governor. Fendall governed Maryland during the latter half of the English Commonwealth period. In 1660, he was replaced by Philip Calvert as 5th/6th Governor of Maryland, after the restoration of Charles II as King in England. In 1694, soon after the overthrow of the Catholic government of 2nd Royal Governor Thomas Lawrence, in office for a few months in 1693, the 3rd Royal Governor Francis Nicholson 1655, in office, moved the capital of the royal colony, the province of Maryland, to Anne Arundel's Town and renamed the town Annapolis after Princess Anne of Denmark and Norway, soon to become Queen Anne of Great Britain, reigned. Annapolis was incorporated as a city in 1708. Colonel John Seymour, the governor of Maryland from 1704 to 1709, wrote Queen Anne on March 16, 1709, with qualifications for municipal officials and provisions for fairs and market days for the town. 17th Annapolis was little more than a village, but it grew rapidly for most of the 18th century until the American Revolutionary War as a political and administrative capital, a port of entry, and a major center of the Atlantic slave trade. The Maryland Gazette, which became an important weekly journal, was founded there by Jonas Green in 1745. In 1769, a theatre opened. During this period also the commerce was considerable, but it declined rapidly after Baltimore, with its deeper harbor, was made a port of entry in 1780. Endnotes. Ridgely, Annals of Annapolis from 1649 until the War of 1812. Baltimore, 1841 South. A. Schaeffer, Annapolis, Ye Ancient City, in L. P. Powell's Historic Towns of the Southern State, New York, 1900. W. Edis, Letters from America, London, 1792. Water trades such as oyster packing, boat building, and sail-making became the city's chief industries. Annapolis is home to a large number of recreational boats that have largely replaced the seafood industry in the city. Multiple image, a line equal left direction equal horizontal, total width equal 450. Image equal Annapolis Old Treasury Building from 1735 by D. Ramy Logan. Caption equal the Old Treasury Building on State Circle adjacent the Maryland State House was built in 1735 and is the oldest extant government building in Annapolis. Image equal view of Annapolis in 1797 NYP Alternative caption equal view of Annapolis in 1797 New York Public Library. Dr. Alexander Hamilton, a Scottish-born doctor and writer, lived and worked in Annapolis. Leo Demi says his 1744 travel diary Gentleman's Progress, the itinerarium of Dr. Alexander Hamilton, is the best single portrait of men and manners, of rural and urban life, of the wide range of society and scenery in colonial America. Annapolis became the temporary capital of the United States after the signing of the Treaty of Paris in 1783. Congress was in session in the State House from November 26, 1783 to August 19, 1784, and it was in Annapolis on December 23, 1783, that General Washington resigned his commission as Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army. For the 1783 Congress, the Governor of Maryland commissioned John Shaw, a local cabinet maker, to create an American flag. Shaw's flag is slightly different from other designs of the time. The blue field extends over the entire height of the hoist. Shaw developed two versions of the flag, one which started with a red stripe and another that started with a white one. In 1786, delegates from all states of the Union were invited to meet in Annapolis to consider measures for the better regulation of commerce. Delegates from only 5 states, New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, New Jersey, and Delaware, actually attended the September 1786 gathering, known afterward as the Annapolis Convention. Without proceeding to the business for which they had met, the delegates passed a resolution calling for another convention to meet at Philadelphia in the following year to amend the Articles of Confederation. The resulting Philadelphia Convention drafted and approved the Constitution of the United States, which remains in force. As we progress through this video, let's now turn our gaze towards Civil War era 1849 late Ers. Civil War era 1849 late Ers. On April 24, 1861, the midshipmen of the Naval Academy relocated their base in Annapolis and were temporarily housed in Newport, Rhode Island, until October 1865. In 1861, the first of 3 camps that were built for holding paroled soldiers was created on the campus of St. John's College. The second location of Camp Parole would house over 20,000 and would be located where Forest Drive is currently. The third and final location was finished in late 1863 and would be placed near the Elkridge Railroad, as to make transportation of soldiers and resources easier before and allowing the camp to grow to its highest numbers. This area just west of the city is still referred to as Parole. The soldiers who did not survive were buried in the Annapolis National Cemetery. Now, let's shift our attention to contemporary era. In 1900, Annapolis had a population of 8,585. On December 21, 1906, Henry Davis was lynched in the city. He was suspected of assaulting a local woman. Nobody was ever tried for the crime. During World War II, shipyards in Annapolis built a number of PT boats, and military vessels such as minesweepers and patrol boats were built in Annapolis during the Korean and Vietnam Wars. It was at Annapolis in July 1940 that Grand Duchess Charlotte of Luxembourg arrived in exile during World War II. In the summer of 1984, the Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis hosted soccer games as part of the XXIII Olympiad. During September 2003, Hurricane Isabel created the largest storm surge known in Annapolis's history, cresting at 7.58 foot. Much of downtown Annapolis was flooded and many businesses and homes in outlying areas were damaged. The previous record was 6.35 foot during a hurricane in 1933 and 5.5 foot during Hurricane Hazel in 1954. Downtown Annapolis has high tide sunny day flooding. A Stanford University study found that this resulted in 3,000 less visits and $172,000 in lost revenue for local business in 2017. From mid-2007 through December 2008, the city celebrated the 300th anniversary of its 1708 Royal Charter, which established democratic self-governance. The many cultural events of this celebration were organized by Annapolis Charter 300. Annapolis was home of the Anne Arundel County Battle of the Bands, which was held at Maryland Hall from 1999 to 2015. The event was a competition between musical groups from each high school in the county. It raised over $100,000 for the county's high school music programs during its 17-year run. On June 28, 2018, at the Capital Gazette, a gunman opened fire, killing 5 journalists and injuring 2 more. An EF2 tornado struck the western edge of the city on September 1, 2021, during the remnants of Hurricane Ida. Homes, businesses, and restaurants had significant damage near Maryland Route 450. Where EF2 damage was observed with estimated winds of 125 miles per hour. The tornado dissipated immediately past US Route 50 and US Route 301. Let's transition to 2007 Annapolis Conference and uncover its significance. As announced by United States Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, Annapolis was the venue for a Middle East summit dealing with the Israeli-Palestinian peace process, with the participation of Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas Abu Mazen, and various other leaders from the region. The conference was held at the United States Naval Academy on November 26, 2007. Get ready for an enlightening exploration as we dig into the State House and understand its role in the broader context. The Maryland State House is the oldest in continuous legislative use in the United States. Construction started in 1772, and the Maryland legislature first met there in 1779. It is topped by the largest wooden dome built without nails in the country. The Maryland State House housed the workings of the United States government from November 26, 1783 to August 13, 1784, and the Treaty of Paris was ratified there on January 14, 1784, so Annapolis became the first peacetime capital of the U.S. It was in the Maryland State House that George Washington famously resigned his commission before the Continental Congress on December 23, 1783. In this section, we'll be shedding light on United States Naval Academy and its impact on our understanding of the subject. The United States Naval Academy was founded in 1845 on the site of Fort Severn, and now occupies an area of land reclaimed from the Severn River. Students that attend the Naval Academy are enrolled for 4 years with a following 5-year commitment to serving on active duty in the Marine Corps or Navy. Students hold the naval rank of midshipman, and on average about 4,500 are enrolled. Get ready for a thought-provoking discussion as we delve into St. John's College and its impact on our understanding. St. John's College is a non-sectarian private college that was once supported by the state. It was opened in 1789 as the successor of King William's School, which was founded by an act of the Maryland legislature in 1696 and was opened in 1701. Its principal building, McDowell Hall, was originally to be the governor's mansion, although £4,000 was appropriated to build it in 1742. It was not completed until after the War of Independence. As we move forward, let's uncover the untold stories and fascinating intricacies of geography. Located 25 mi south of Baltimore and convert east of Washington, D.C., Annapolis is the closest state capital to the national capital. Inland area Annapolis proper is also the smallest of the United States capital cities. In this part of the video, we'll be delving deeper into climate and analyzing its key components. The city is a part of the Atlantic coastal plain and is relatively flat, with the highest point being only 50 feet above sea level. According to the United States Census Bureau, the city has a total area of convert, of which 7.18 sqmi is land and 0.92 sqmi is water. Annapolis lies within the humid subtropical climate zone (QNCFA), with hot, humid summers, cool winters, and generous precipitation year-round. Low elevation and proximity to the Chesapeake Bay give the area more moderate spring and summertime temperatures and slightly less extreme winter lows than locations further inland, such as Washington, D.C. Climate data for Annapolis month average sea temperature FC mean daily daylight hours source, Weather Atlas. Without further ado, let's move on to the topic of tidal flooding. In November 2020, NASA reported that Annapolis had 18 days of high tide non-storm-related flooding from May 2019 to April 2020, an increase over 12 days, and higher than the 1995-2005 average of 2 days annually. The increase is attributed to sea level rise caused by climate change. Resultant flood damages caused local businesses to lose as much as $172,000 a year. On Naval Academy grounds, seawater came out of storm drains, with McNair Road and Ramsey Road flooding 20 times in 2020 and more than 40 times each in 2018 and 2019. Adaptation approaches such as seawalls and building up the height of roadways and athletic fields are predicted to last only a few decades. As we enter this new phase, let's navigate the complexities of neighborhoods and suburbs and discover its practical applications. Admiral Heights, Arnold Arundel on the Bay, Cape Street, Clear Church Circle and Street, Anne's Church Episcopal Anglican, Central Annapolis with Anne Arundel County Courthouse 1812 with series of rear annexes. Crofton, Crownsville, East Portage, Witter, Highland Beach, Gambrels, Hillsmere Shores, London Town, Main Street, City Dock and City Market House on Waterfront, Millersville, Naval Academy, Odenton Parole, former site of Civil War era prisoner of war exchange of Camp Parole. Later 20th century residential and commercial development including First Area Shopping Center of Parole Center in Ers. River Street, Margaret's State Circle and Maryland Avenue site of Maryland State House capital of Ers with adjacent state office buildings for General Assembly, State Legislature, Executive Departments, Lawyers Mall, Civic Plaza along Bladen Boulevard and Government House, Governor's Mansion and U.S. Post Office building for Annapolis West Street Arts District. In the next segment, we'll be exploring 2020 census and its implications for our subject matter. As of the census of 2020, there were 40,812 people. The racial makeup of the city was 49.4% non-Hispanic white, 21.7% African American, 0.7% Native American, 2.5% Asian, 14.5% from other races, and 8.1% from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino residents of any race made up 22.9% of the population. In the upcoming portion, we'll be dissecting 2010 census to gain a comprehensive understanding of its implications. As of the census of 2010, there were 38,394 people, 16,136 households, and 8,776 families residing in the city. The population density was 5,347.4 sqmi. There were 17,845 housing units at an average density of 2,485.4 mi. The racial makeup of the city was 60.1% white, 26% African American, 0.3% Native American, 2.1% Asian, 9% from other races, and 2.6% from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino people of any race were 16.8% of the population. There were 16,136 households, of which 26.6% had children under the age of 18 living with them. 35.3% were married couples living together. 14.9% had a female householder with no husband present. 4.2% had a male householder with no wife present. And 45.6% were non-families. Of all households, 35% were made up of individuals, and 11.1% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.34 and the average family size was 3.02. The median age in the city was 36 years. 20.8% of residents were under the age of 18, 9.9% were between the ages of 18 and 24, 31.1% were from 25 to 44, 25.3% were from 45 to 64, and 13% were 65 years of age or older. The gender makeup of the city was 47.8% male and 52.2% female. Turning our focus to 2000 census, let's explore its key elements. As of the census of 2000, there were 35,838 people, 15,303 households, and 8,676 families residing in the city. The population density was 5,326 PSCMI. There were 16,165 housing units at an average density of 2,402.3 mi. The racial makeup of the city was 62.66% white, 31.44% black or African American, 0.17% Native American, 1.81% Asian, 0.03% Pacific Islander, 2.22% from other races, and 1.67% from two or more races. 8.42% of the population were Hispanic or Latino of any race. There were 15,303 households, out of which 24.5% had children under the age of 18 living with them. 36.6% were married couples living together, 16.3% had a female householder with no husband present, and 43.3% were non-families. Of all households, 32.9% were made up of individuals, and 9.2% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.3 and the average family size was 2.93. In the city, 21.7% of the population was under the age of 18, 9.3% from 18 to 24, 33.4% from 25 to 44, 23.7% from 45 to 64, and 11.9% was 65 years of age or older. The median age was 36 years. For every 100 females, there were 90 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 86.8 males age 18 and over. The median income for a household in the city was $49,243, and the median income for a family was $56,984. These figures had risen to $70,140 and $84,573 respectively, according to males had a median income of $39,548 versus $30,741 for females. The per capita income for the city was $27,180. About 9.5% of families and 12.7% of the population were living in poverty, of which 20.8% were under age 18 and 10.4% were age 65 or over. Our focus now turns to economy, an important aspect of our discussion. According to the city's 2018 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report, the top employers in the city, excluding state and local government, are employees 1 United States Naval Academy 2,500 to ARC of the Central Chesapeake Region 500 and to 3 Annapolis Marriott Waterfront Hotel 215 4 St. John's College 200 and for 5 Contact Telecommunications Corporation 206 Federal Catering 187 Buddy's Crabs and Ribs, Inc. 167 8 Lowe's Annapolis Hotel 166 97 Bangkok Inc. 163 10 Rams Head Tavern Inc. 140. As we progress through this video, let's shift our attention towards theater and uncover its hidden depths. Annapolis has a thriving community theater scene which includes 2 venues in the historic district. On East Street, Colonial Players produces approximately 6 shows a year in its 180-seat theater. A Christmas Carol has been a seasonal tradition in Annapolis since it opened at the Colonial Players Theater in 1981. Based on the play by Charles Dickens, the 90-minute production by the Colonial Players is an original musical adaptation, with play and lyrics by Richard Wade and music by Dick Gessner. Colonial Players, Inc. is a non-profit organization founded in 1949. Its first production, The Male Animal, was performed in 1949 at the Annapolis Recreation Center on Compromise Street. In 1955, the organization moved to its venue in a former automotive repair shop on East Street. During the warmer months, Annapolis Summer Garden Theater presents 3 shows on its outdoor stage, which is visible from the city dock. A non-profit organization, Annapolis Summer Garden Theater has been providing theater under the stars since 1966, when it performed You Can't Take It With You and Brigadoon at Covell Hall Hotel. It began leasing its site at 143 Compromise Street, the former location of the Shaw Blacksmith Shop, in 1967, and became owner of the property in 1990. The Naval Academy Masqueraders, a theater group at the United States Naval Academy, produces 1 main stage show each fall and student-directed 1-act plays in the spring. Founded in 1847, the Masqueraders is the oldest extracurricular activity at the Naval Academy. Its shows, performed in Mahan Hall, are selected to support the Academy's English curriculum. The King William Players, a student theater group at St. John's College, holds 2 performances each semester in the college's Francis Scott Key Auditorium. Admission is usually free and open to the public. As we enter this new phase, let's uncover the impact of museums, historical sites, and monuments on our broader topic. The Banneker Douglas Museum, located in the historic Mount Moriah Church at 87 Franklin Street, documents the history of African Americans in Maryland. Since its opening on February 24, 1984, the museum has provided educational programs, rotating exhibits, and a research facility. Admission is free. Preble Hall, named for Edward Preble, houses the U.S. Naval Academy Museum, founded in 1845. Its Beverly R. Robertson collection contains 6,000 prints depicting European and American naval history from 1514 through World War II. It is also home to one of the world's best ship model collections, donated by Henry Hutleston Rogers. Rogers's donation was the impetus for the construction of Preble Hall. The museum has approximately 100,000 visitors each year. The Hammond Harwood House, located at 19 Maryland Avenue, was built in 1774 for Matthias Hammond, a wealthy Maryland farmer. Its design was adapted by William Buckland from Andrea Palladio's Villa Pisoni to accommodate American colonial regional preferences. Since 1940, When the house was purchased from St. John's College by the Hammond Harwood House Association, it has served as a museum exhibiting a collection of John Shaw furniture and Charles Wilson Peale paintings. Its exterior and interior preserve the original architecture of a mansion from the late colonial period. Annapolis City Dock lies at the foot of Main Street that slopes down from Church Circle and St. Anne's Church. The dock is now a narrow waterway from Spa Creek, once named Carroll's Creek, with the dock area called Dock Cove, into the heart of the lower town. At the head of the dock is a small park with the Continental Alex Haley Memorial, with the market house and a traffic circle in an expanse of asphalt surrounded by historic buildings. The market house, though relatively modern, stands in a vicinity occupied by similar market houses dating to 1730, when the city market was moved from the State House area to the head of the dock. The dock itself is now used largely by recreational vessels rather than the commercial boats and boats of Chesapeake Bay watermen selling catches. The dock and surroundings are part of the colonial Annapolis National Historic Landmark (NHL) District. The Continental Alex Haley Memorial, located in a park at the head of Annapolis City Dock, commemorates the arrival point of Alex Haley's African ancestor, Hunter Kint, whose story is related in Haley's 1976 novel Roots, the saga of an American family. A sculpture group at the memorial site portrays Alex Haley seated, reading from a book to 3 children. The final phase of the memorial's construction was completed in 2002. The Pocker House and Garden encompasses an 18th Georgian mansion constructed by William Pocker, a signer of the Declaration of Independence. The property includes a terraced garden that has been restored to its colonial-era design. Annapolis often serves as the endpoint for the 3,000-mile annual transcontinental race across America bicycle race. To the north of the State House is a monument to Thurgood Marshall, the first black justice of the U.S. Supreme Court and formerly a Maryland lawyer who won many important civil rights cases. Located just before the Naval Academy Bridge is the World War I Memorial, which was constructed in 1998 to symbolize the sacrifice made by the 275,000 citizens from Maryland who joined the service to fight in the war. The memorial is composed of 48 granite columns to represent the 48 states at the time of the war, surrounding an amphitheater in which are the names of 6,454 men who gave their lives in the war. Directly behind the memorial are both the Maryland and United States flags, and a star-shaped column with a 7-sided base to represent Maryland being the 7th state in the Union. Now, let's redirect our focus towards sports and discover its significance in our narrative. On March 9, 2010, the Chesapeake Bay Hawks of Major League Lacrosse moved from Washington, D.C., to the Annapolis area, at Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. In 2013, the Bayhawks won the league's championship, the Steinfeld Cup, for the 5th time. Annapolis Blues SC is a men's amateur soccer team that plays in USL League Two, which also competes out of Marine Corps Memorial Stadium. Get ready for a thought-provoking discussion as we delve into parks and recreation and its impact on our understanding. The city boasts over 200 acres of parkland, with the largest being the 70-acre Truxton Heights Park. Quiet Waters Park, a 340-acre regional park run by Anne Arundel County, offers water access, a playground area, over 6 miles of paved trails, and an ice skating rink, and a dog beach. Community parks: Bayhead Park, Bestgate Park, Broad Creek Park, Broadneck Park, Brownswood Park, Generals Highway Corridor Park, Jones and Catherine Park, Peninsula Park, Truxton Park, Whitmore Park, Y.H. Bates Heritage Park. In the upcoming section, we'll be shining a light on events and festivals. Annapolis is home to many seasonal or holiday-themed events and festivals that take place throughout the year. Some examples are the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade, May Day, and United States Naval Academy Commissioning Week. In this part of the video, we'll be delving deeper into city government and analyzing its key components. Annapolis is governed via the weak mayor system. The city council consists of 8 aldermen who are elected from single-member wards. The mayor is elected directly in a citywide vote. Since 2008, several aldermen have introduced unsuccessful charter amendments to institute a council-manager system, a move opposed by both Democratic Mayor Joshua J. Cohen and his Republican successor Mike Pantelides. Let's now zoom in on state government and uncover the hidden gems that lie within. The state legislature, governor's office, and appellate courts are located in Annapolis. While Annapolis is the state's only capital, some administrative offices, including a number of cabinet-level departments, are based in Baltimore. In this part of the video, we'll be delving deeper into education and analyzing its key components. Annapolis is served by the Anne Arundel County Public Schools system. Founded in 1896, Annapolis High School has an internationally recognized IB International program. Public schools that serve students in the Annapolis area: Annapolis High, Annapolis Middle, Bates Middle, Annapolis Elementary, Eastport Elementary, Georgetown East Elementary, Germantown Elementary, Hillsborough Elementary, Mills Parole Elementary, Rolling Knolls Elementary, Tyler Heights Elementary, West Annapolis Elementary. Street Anne's School of Annapolis, Olive Bit Jewish Day School, Annapolis Area Christian School, Street Martin's Lutheran School, Severn School, Street Mary's High School, Annapolis, Maryland, and Indian Creek School are private schools in the Annapolis area. The Key School, located on a converted farm in the neighborhood of Hillsborough, has also served Annapolis for over 50 years. Anne Arundel County's alternative school, which has around 160 students ranging grades, Mary East. Moss Academy is also in the Annapolis area. As we transition, let's shed light on media and its relevance to our ongoing exploration. The capital covers the news of Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. In addition to being in the broadcast areas of Baltimore and Washington, D.C., television and most radio stations, Annapolis is home of radio station WNAV. As we transition to the next segment, let's unravel the mysteries surrounding roads and highways and gain a fresh perspective. No major highways enter the city limits of Annapolis. Just outside the city limits, Interstate US, Route US. Route 301 traverses the region on an east-west route, connecting the Annapolis area to Washington, D.C., and the eastern shore of Maryland. Interstate 97 interchanges with I-US 301 a few miles west of Annapolis and provides the most direct link to Baltimore. Maryland Route 2 also passes just outside the city limits and is the best connection to southern Maryland, while also providing an alternate route to Baltimore. The most prominent roads directly accessing the city include Maryland Route 70, which connects downtown Annapolis to US 301, and Maryland Route 665, which does likewise for the southwestern portions of the city. Other state highways serving Annapolis include Maryland Route 181, Maryland Route 387, Maryland Route 393, Maryland Route 435, Maryland Route 436, Maryland Route 450, Maryland Route 788, and Maryland Route 797. In the next segment, we'll be exploring bus and its implications for our subject matter. The Annapolis Department of Transportation, a DOT, provides bus service with 8 routes, collectively branded Annapolis Transit. The system serves the city with recreational areas, shopping centers, educational and medical facilities, and employment hubs. A DOT also offers transportation for the elderly and persons with disabilities. Several Maryland Transit Administration commuter buses also allow for access to Baltimore or Washington, D.C. The spotlight now falls on railway as we delve deeper into its details. From 1840 to 1968, Annapolis was connected to the outside world by railroad. The Washington, Baltimore, and Annapolis Electric Railway were operated to electrified interurban lines that brought passengers into the city from both the south and the north. The southern route ran down King George Street and Main Street, leading directly to the steakhouse, while the northern route entered town via Glen Burnie. In 1935, the war went bankrupt due to the effects of the Great Depression and suspended service along its southern route, while the newly created Baltimore and Annapolis Railroad retained service on the northern route. Steam trains of the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad also occasionally operated over the line to Annapolis, primarily for Special Naval Academy movements. Passenger rail service on the was eventually discontinued in 1950. Freight service ceased in 1968 after the dilapidated trestle crossing the Severn River was condemned. The tracks were eventually dismantled in 1976. As we enter this new phase, let's navigate the complexities of government and politics and discover its practical applications. James D. Beans, born in Annapolis, graduate of United States Naval Academy, later Brigadier General in the Marine Corps. Sally Bryce O'Hara, born 1953, graduate of Annapolis High School, 27th Vice Commandant of the U.S. Coast Guard. Charles Carroll, Continental Congressman from Maryland. Charles Carroll of Carrollton, United States Senator and signer of United States Declaration of Independence. Pamela Children Kotoba, born 1950, former officer of the NOAA Commissioned Officer Corps. Peter Kelvin Collins, U.S. Navy Admiral. Henry Winter Davis, United States Representative from Maryland. John Eubanks, Republican member of Arkansas House of Representatives from Logan County, graduated from high school in Annapolis. John Hall, born in Annapolis, delegate to the Continental Congress from Maryland. Alexander Conti Hansen, born in Annapolis, United States Congressman and Senator from Maryland. Samuel M. Harrington, born in Annapolis, USMC Brigadier General. Revedy Johnson, born in Annapolis, United States Senator from Maryland and Attorney General of the United States. Frank J. Larkin, resident of Annapolis, 40th Sergeant at Arms of the United States Senate. George Kelvin McGonigal, U.S. Army Colonel. William Dewhurst Merrick, born in Annapolis, lawyer, professor at George Washington University, and United States Senator from Maryland. William Pocker, signatory to the United States Declaration of Independence as a representative of Maryland. Henry D. Todd, United States Naval Academy professor and Rear Admiral. Reginald H. Ridgely Jr., United States Marine Corps Lieutenant General, grew up in Annapolis. Blake Van Leer, resident during WWII, U.S. Army Colonel and board member of United States Naval Academy. Our focus now turns to athletes, an important aspect of our discussion. Devin Barclay, professional soccer and college football player. Bill Belichick, lived in Annapolis, graduate of Annapolis High School, head football coach at the University of North Carolina, former head coach of the New England Patriots. Donald Brown, pro football player. Darrant Jones, American football coach. Ivan Leshinsky, born 1947, American Israeli basketball player. Debbie Meyer, born in Annapolis, three-time Olympic swimming gold medalist. Travis Pastrana, X-Games athlete. Nitro Circus Nitro Rallycross founder and ex-American Rally Association Rally America champion. Mark Teixeira, born in Annapolis, retired professional baseball player for New York Yankees. Let's now shift gears and explore the arts through a critical lens, uncovering its strengths and weaknesses. John Henry Alexander, born in Annapolis, scientist, businessman, and author. John Beale Budley, government official, farmer, and author. James M. Cain, born in Annapolis, author of Double Indemnity, Mildred Pierce, and The Postman Always Rings Twice. Michelle Carey, born in Annapolis, actress. El Dorado, Live a Little, Love a Little. Robert Duvall, actor, lived in downtown Annapolis. Jay Fleming, born in Annapolis, photographer. Barbara Kingsolver, born in Annapolis, novelist and poet. Iris Krosno, author, journalism professor, and keynote speaker. Louise Platt, September 6, 2003, American theater, film, and TV actress. Christian Siriano, fashion designer and winner of the 4th season of Project Runway. Thorne Smith, author of Topper Stan Stearns, photographer of the iconic image of a 3-year-old John Fahrenheit. Kennedy Jr. saluting the coffin of his father, U.S. President John Fahrenheit. Kennedy Leo Strauss, German-born Jewish political philosopher who specialized in the study of classical philosophy, spent his last 3 years of life teaching at St. John's in Annapolis. Get ready for an enlightening exploration as we dig into others and understand its role in the broader context. Brother Chidananda, president from the Self-Realization Fellowship and Yoga de Satsang Society of India. James Booth Lockwood, born in Annapolis, Army officer and Arctic explorer, the person who named Lockwood Island and Street. Claire Wright, longtime Annapolis resident, historic preservationist in the city. Let's now venture into the realm of popular culture and explore the fascinating intricacies it holds. The 1955 film An Annapolis Story takes place at the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis. The 2006 film Annapolis is set in the titular city. The 2014 film Are You Here is partially set in Annapolis. Remember to follow me on social media for behind-the-scenes content and updates.